I was standing at the Honolulu's check-in, clutching my old backpack and trying to keep my being steady when my sister flashed a sharp that grin she wears before destroying some and uttered phrase that made half the airport turn its head. Not seriously traveling like that, are you? The sound through the air like metal hitting the ground. Clara spoke loudly and articulately, almost as if she were putting on a show. And of course, it worked. A woman with a child in her arms, two teens, chuckled softly. The employee tagging the bags looked up. Clara scanned me from head to toe, a gray sweatshirt, my hair tied up any old way. She made an exaggerated gesture of disbelief, as if I were a made work of art displayed in the wrong place. My mother let out that long-reached sigh that carried years of silent disappointment. The way they didn't know what I discovered 2 weeks, didn't know what I was carrying inside my backpack. And most importantly, they had no idea what would happen next at that airport. Kept talking because she never knows when to stop. Seriously, Mom, look at her. She's going to ruin every in Hawaii. A laugh arose behind. She loved that. Spectators, the more people ruler I, on the other hand, zipped up my backpack. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me where you're listening from, because growing up, my sister Clara was a spotlight. I wasn't trouble. Learned to, or was a stay. Clara always costume first slice of restaurant trips. I got the job of king her bag, photographing her, and not spoiling. It was always like this. Don't spoil. That phrase. Remember the summer she decided I should. She was 15. I was 13. She sat me on the edge of and said, with all the clarity that only you're lucky enough for the both of us. That day I laughed. I always laughed. Easier to laugh than it hurt. Parents, they never correct. They said that Clara is like that and that I shouldn't make it so. But the problem was that I took everything silently, always. And that's why, as an adult, I became the kind of person who doesn't make noise, who avoids conflict, who doesn't create waves. The daughter who cute cases, solves problems, bills without the one that tries to be light. But on that Hawaii, something was different. I was different because before setting, I had already realized that exaggerator fakes a little kid. Let's choose your look together, sis. Do you want to use my toiletry bag? I brought two. It was stressed, and the people around them think they're small gesture. But those who grew up under this kind of toxic and why? Something was off. Something was about to happen. Stomach, like a warning. But what happened? I wasn't ready for what came. Her started on those 11 seconds. He said nervously, did she resolve this? The part about because using your it again until my hand started. I opened my email. I looked for any confirmation of the travel aid, and there it was, with my name, my CPF, Brazilian tax ID number, my card number, total purchase, much higher than what I had authorized. The amounts, I noticed a charge, outstanding installments, debts that were not mine. My heart was so hard. I hear my pulse in my ear. Clara had linked her own debit to my card. Part of the trip was mine. The rest was a debt that had to do with me. Most ironic part, he was being sweet to make sure I didn't mess anything up before boarding. I took a deep breath. I didn't cry, didn't scream, didn't call her. I did what I always did, silent, and a folder on my computer. Hawaii document. Inside it, I collected screenshots from the card's website where Australia was. She was someone at stage, a wallet, slowly. I knew that no one would be without proof. I knew that if I heard too soon, my mother would give that speech about not making. My father would say that things can be resolved by talking. I didn't want to talk. I wanted the public. Inescape. I closed my laptop, put the printed folder in my backpack, and thought, idea what is about to happen. And then the room went silent. The airport was crowded, noisy, filled with the constant sound of suitcase wheels dragging on the floor. The air smelled of burnt coffee, and the air conditioner was too cold to exist there. Quiet, mixed in tired passengers and restless. Clara can't stand being just another. She needs an audience. And as always, he used me to get it. We were in the check-in line when she stared at me with that crooked smile, the same one she had when she'd already decided she was going to belittle me. Mom, look at her. Ela disse alto, muito alto. She's going to ruin every single picture in Hawaii. Two women behind us looked directly at me. One of them pursed her lips as if I really were an aesthetic problem. I just adjusted the backpack strap. She continued, why would you wear that to an international trip? God, you look like rolled out of bed. My mother uttered her classic line, your name. Wouldn't you have made an effort? Sister just wants to help you. I felt a warm breath around my neck. Tired. Clara approached, touching my sweatshirt as if handling something dirty. Honestly, sis, next time let me choose your airport out. Make us look messy in the surrounding area. Not because they cared, but because humans love a little drama involving others. She modulated her voice so possible ignore her. A couple ahead exchanged glances. A teenager laughed. The clerk behind the counter gave me a quick glance, comfortable at the time. I felt the air grow heavier, the white light of the airport grow colder. Everything felt like it was being squeezed inside my throat. But outwardly, I maintained that neutral expression Clara always interpreted as she didn't realize my family gripping the concrete document folder at the backpack. Didn't realize that it was strategy. She realized she still wasn't She raised her voice, theatric, seriously, to stop letting her pick her own clothes. Mom, look at this. Look. My arm, as if he wanted to airport what I was wearing. My breathing slowed down. Clara, stop, and softly. She laughed. Or what? And it was in that exact second that something, it was as if all the years swallowing had finally gathered in a single point in my chest. I looked at her and I thought, you have no idea what I have. You have no idea what's about to happen. But what happened, the corridor near the board crowded, that kind of silent chaos where everyone was too tired to talk, but alert enough to hear drama unfolding nearby. Clara, of course, loved this potential audience. I just wanted it all to end, but that's not how it happened. An airline employee called our family over with clipboard and card holder for this reservation, she asked, professional. Clara took a step forward as if by reflex. Me, obvious, hung and heavy, arrogant. I saw the employee raise an eyebrow. She looked then at the document, not from I took a deep breath, stepped forward, and said, in the calmest voice ever come out of my mouth, actually, no. The card is mine. Clara laughed. A almost reached laugh. Sis, please, you don't even know how this process works. The employee turned the screen towards us, and there it was. My name, my address, my digital signature. My father frowned. My mother pressed the bag against her chest to recover, so it might have caused. I took the folder out of my backpack, slowly, like someone laying evidence on the table in a courtroom. Handed the documents to the employee. She examined them without hate. He looked at me. Then he looked at Clara. These extra charges, she said, pointing, don't belong to the travel packet. They are pre-existing. My father turned sharply to Clara. What is that? Clara began pale. Dad, I don't know. Maybe, I interrupted. First time in my life, interrupted. I picked up my cell phone, opened the audio message her boyfriend had sent me, turned up the volume, and put it on speaker. His voice echoed down the hallway. Using your sister's, an absolute silence fell over us all. He froze. Clara's eyes widened, choked on That's out of context. Calm down. And there's more. I showed them a screenshot of my card. The record shows up at 2 a.m, a time when I was asleep. My mother whispered, Clara. Clara took a step back, as if someone had pulled the rug out. He tried to laugh. He tried to argue. He even tried to blame me. Nobody bought it. Not even my parents. Not even the employee. Not even the surrounding audience, now combined up, watching as if it were a live episode of reality. Then the employee took a deep breath and instantly the resident with this card, the passenger who misused will not be. His face fell. Her eyes went blank, and at that moment's breath. And then, it was strange, the one who always filled the employee, firm, awaited her reaction. My parents were somewhere between shock and denial, as if trying to understand of a second, a reality I had lived with years. And I was calm. Frightening kind of calm that spent so time swallowing that you're finally to fight to prove anything. Sis, you really going to do this to your own family? Her voice came out loud, broken, trembling, conditioned reflex, years of my eyes sought out and there was that look that haunted me all my life, the one that said, do that, don't cause trouble, be the one who can handle the consequences. But this time, the blatant register, the old obedience wasn't coming. My parents moved closer, as up close that this was really happening. Clara, did you really put in your sister's? My father asked, without raising his voice. It seemed burdened weight I had. Clara waved her hand, as if the single. You don't understand. I just wanted us to travel. I was going to pay. Eventually, I just needed to organize things. The agency wouldn't let me pay with my card. Because you've already exceeded the limit, I replied, firmly but quietly. And because it's not the first time. The words came out on their own. And Clara's eyes widened. My parents looked at me, almost offended that I knew something they didn't. I continued. I know about the other purchases. I know about the loans you took out, and I know about your mom's extra. I know everything. Clara turned red, then white. My father took a deep breath. My mother murmured. The employee tried to. Madam, I cannot allow you to. The main reservation means valid for the cardholder, but the connected tickets will have to be a separate payment. In other words, Clara wouldn't go. Forward, eyes were not with you really going alone. You're going to ruin the whole family's trip, Jed finally. My mother tried one last emotion. Your name, at least talk to her. Sort this out. Can't afford an extra ticket right now. You know our situation. I knew. They had no idea of Clara, but I knew. I've known for years. Always ended up paying of everything. My father looked exhausted. Or you want to do this now? Deep breath. She's the one who did it. Just letting Clara stared at me as taking away her oxygen. First time, not by the public, but by the fact that I was no longer in my role. Her role was the center. Mine was the light, but not that day. I want to keep my reservation, she nodded. My father took a step, grabbed my arm. Going to travel alone? Even recognized others. Clara stood still, breathing rapidly, as if searching for something to move my face, not out of aggression, but out of as if that hit her harder. Screenshots and audio. I never spoke, never put my. The employee swiped my boarding pass. I walked towards and something happened. Never imagined. My father held my mother's hand, let her go. My mother's mouth dropped open in surprise. But what about Clara? And the trip? Course, let her solve her own problems, he replied, without raising his voice. They were simple, true. I kept walking. When I handed my card to the flight attendant, I heard Clara call my name, not angry, not in a mocking way, afraid, but I didn't look back. Inside the plane, I sat by the window. The boarding lights softly illumined the cabin. The people around me were chatting, organizing luggage, adjusting headphones. For the first time, my body it was strange, almost uncomfortable. My body wasn't used to existing. While a flight attendant, "Are you well?" I smiled. "I am." She nodded, as if she understood more than I had said. The plane took off. The city began to rink through the window, and along with her, everything I've carried for Clara. Favoritism, the role of shadow, borrowed blame, the responsibility of others is now resting. Everything got small, minor. Dot. I wasn't running away. Finally, and not because my suit was empty, my heart was. Tell me where you've ever been. Quiet one who finally walked away.